What's up, everybody? How you doing? Oh, sorry, wrong rep video. Today we're doing Chrome delete. That's right, today we're going to do Chrome delete on the passenger side of my car. I've already done the driver's side. I learned a lot, just like doing everything else. I made some mistakes, and I'm going to show you those mistakes first, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to remedy those mistakes on the passenger side. So we're going to do the whole passenger, well, not really the whole passenger side, because I'm going to continue with the lines on my car. From what I show you today, you'll be able to do the whole thing. Let me show you the driver's side. I finished putting this piece on. I wrapped the chrome trim in the same exact film, so it kind of just ties everything in. I've also done a chrome delete on the mirror. I'm going to show you that. And I did a little chrome delete piece here. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that there or just remove that and make it black. But this is real carbon fiber. Thank you, Bob. This is real carbon fiber, and I'm not going to replace this. This carbon fiber is from RPM Tesla and is a really nice piece. The one thing I haven't done yet is this chrome trim here, but everything else is done. Wrapped this as well, and then this is where I get into the stripes that I had. It looks really good from afar, just like everything else, but I did notice out in the sun, I have some gapping here on this piece, and I did this a little differently than I did this piece, and I'm going to show you that on the other side, because you can remove this chrome. It's actually really easy to do. But there is the look of the car all finished on this side. Can't really get it all in view, but we're going to do this to that side. So chrome delete, it's something that a lot of people like to do. They like to use black, they like to use satin black, gloss black, whatever. I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be the same color. The chrome really stands out on this side, and it looks really bad, mainly because I haven't done the white here. That's going to change today. We're going to be doing the white here first and then wrapping the chrome. But before I do all that, we're going to disassemble. We're going to remove this chrome piece so we can wrap this a little easier. We're going to remove these two chrome pieces, and we're going to remove this mirror. Now there's many ways of doing that. You can just remove the mirror. You can leave the mirror on and try it. That's what I did on the other side. It's very difficult to do. And I wish I would have taken these mirrors off when I did the doors, but I'll do that next time. So that's what we're going to start with. To remove the door panel, we have to remove this reflector, and there's a Torx bit behind there. There's one here and one here. We have to remove this panel to get to two of the screws here. The first part is just lift the speaker, grab the speaker and lift it up. All you do is disconnect the wire. And then that speaker is loose. It's a really tiny speaker. There is one bolt here, one bolt here, and one bolt here behind the panel. And that's what we have to get. Plus we have to unhook 2 wires on this side, 3 wires on the driver's side. So you want to grab a pry tool or be careful with a metal screwdriver. You just go slow with it, and this little clip pops off. And then inside there is a Torx screw. And then underneath the door, right by the light, is another one. Just let that fall. And behind the door button is a little triangle cover, which hides another one. And then the door will come free. Now, if you have a pry tool, you can get a pry tool in between here, but really you can push and separate the top. And then you'll be able to get your fingers in between and pull. Sounds like you're breaking it. You might be. It's just popping it loose. Now I've kind of just set a blanket here to kind of hold this in place, and we're just going to disconnect these wires. Behind this plastic piece, there's a little clip. You just pull on that. After that one, we take the pink one. This one's a little difficult. And then that one releases. Then you want to also remove it from this clip here. So now that the wires are free, we can take apart this. There's one bolt here, there's one bolt right below it, and then the other one's right over here. What you need to do is pull on this rubber piece. It's kind of like a button in place, and you just pull it off. There's another little clip down here. Pry it back, and you can remove it. So now with the mirror loose, you can kind of lift up and lift out. feeding the wire through, And the mirror is off. And now you can see why it's a better idea to remove this while you're wrapping the door, and you remove this. That way you can get this vinyl up into the groove, and then you won't see any of this once you put the mirror back on. What you want to do next is just take the door panel, and it hooks right on top. You just kind of want to rest it there so we can close the door a little bit. Be careful not to damage anything. That way we can work on removing this chrome piece. All it does is, you can do it with the door closed or open, but you kind of lift on one end and continue to come all the way down. Slowly, you don't want to bend this too much. And pull it off. And that's what you're going to do with both of them. Now the next step is to grab this rubber molding and pull it down. You don't have to remove it completely. You just grab it and pull it down. It'll go right back into place. This part you can leave just like that. The reason being, there's screws up here. We're going to remove these screws so we can remove this chrome piece. That way I can wrap this all the way in. Those are a T20 Torx bit. And they're tiny screws, so don't lose them. Because there's one black one here that is just a push pin to help hold this in place while they put it in from the factory. Once you have this loose, you slide it towards the front of the car and it releases off of here. And now with the chrome gone, you can see that there's little inserts in here, and that's where the screws went, and there's nothing in the middle here. There's just these screws, the inserts for here. So this makes this 10 times easier to wrap this piece here. Some people like to wrap this on the car or off the car. It's kind of easier on the car because this does move around, but if you have a second person to hold it, or a good way to hold it, it's not too difficult. So now that it's pretty much all disassembled, I even took the dash out while in the middle of this because I'm going to wrap the dash. Now we can get to wrapping. Prep work is probably 90% of all the work. At least that's what Jay-Z taught me. Time to chrome delete this thing. So what I've done so far, this is that plate that goes here. There's two clips right here, but there's also one clip on the back. That clip on the back, once you remove this felt that's holding it onto here, release that clip and you push from this side up and it'll pop right off. You can wrap this if you'd like to, but the reason I removed it is so I can tuck the material down here a lot easier. I've tried to remove this and it seems very difficult to remove and seems like I'd break something. I think what we're going to do is start with this piece here, then do this piece, because that's the bottom half, and I want the chrome delete to wrap down over top of that. So first things first, let's clean this up. So now that this is clean, I'm going to have to clean it again because I'm going to be touching more. But I want to wrap this first. We won't see the chrome because I like having the mirrors fold. So what I've done here is I've taken a piece of scrap, slid it into where I want it, then taken a Sharpie and drew on the back where I want. That way, now I can take this and cut that out and I don't have to deal with a giant piece. Now I can put this in here, lay this in, then I can trim it when it's on there a little bit easier. Just gonna put it right in place, take a little wedge tool and kind of tuck it around. This other piece is going to overlap this and it'll be fine. Then we take the heat gun, warm that up nice, really push it down. And we're going to take, and all we're doing is just scoring the top of the vinyl. Just pushing hard enough to not cut through it, but to just score it. It's like using knifeless tape, but using a knife for it. You can kind of see that. And then we're going to move to the next piece. This next piece is going to be this piece right here. I've just cut a thin piece to go right there. I just want to cover that little corner up there. And we want to feed it into the recess and then up and out. So right here, we're going to heat it up a little bit. Makes it pliable. And we're just gonna fold it down. Push with our thumb, let it cool off, and smooth it out. We're just stretching it just a little bit. And we're gonna trim all that at the bottom anyway. And then this, warm up, pull back, and there. So that way, this little curve that's kind of bent a little bit, you'll see that if you don't do this. And this right here makes a nice line to make our cut. So that way we're not cutting on anything here. We're just going to be cutting right in between the pieces of plastic, the chrome. And just be careful through here. There we go. We're heating that glue up, making it stick really well. And we're gonna heat this up again, just to make sure it doesn't lift. Going to cut just the vinyl again. With a steady hand. This does take a little practice, but now the inside of that is done. And that's why we did that, because you'll be able to see that if we didn't do that. Now the other parts don't matter. That centerpiece doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. Now we can do this piece here. We take this. There's a rubber gasket here that we're sliding back and forth and want to get underneath it. So we're going to hold this down in place. We're going to stretch this. Well, not stretch it, but just get the wrinkles out as we bring it up to the top. And this looks really tight here, so we're going to take some heat. This softens the vinyl, and we're going to roll it over. And you can see how I tucked it underneath that rubber seal there. And then here I'm pulling it back from the main piece, so I can take the glove, kind of put it down in there. Now you can kind of see how this is laying out. Again, I'm cutting in between the panels. And then making sure we overlap, because we don't want to see chrome when we're done. I'm going to take the heat gun, take a glove, get what you can, and then you use one of these tools and push the rest down. And that looks really good. And again, we're not going to see the bottom. We did all that for really nothing. Now this piece is a little tricky. We are going to use knifeless tape on this because I don't want to see the line. And we're going to cut right here. Now we don't have to do inside there because we already did that little piece here. So I went to show you knifeless tape and I forgot to hit record. But what I did, I ran the knifeless tape on this top edge. Remember, this is the top edge. And the cutter is on this side of it. Well, we're going to overlap with the second layer on top. So I cut down a little bit, and this is pretty much right on the edge. So this will cut this nice and straight, and then the rest of it we can cut right on that line that's there. But if you'd like to see, we'll use knifeless tape here too. There's the two pieces of knifeless tape. I know a lot of you liked the knifeless tape in the last video. Now it's just a matter of measuring out, cutting your piece, laying it down, and then I'll show you using the knifeless tape. So again, the knifeless tape has a cord through it, and you separate the cord from the tape. And then what you want to do is pull it backwards to where the vinyl starts. You want to get a good firm grip on it. Put your thumb right over top and give it a yank, and it will pull through the vinyl. And then you'll have a cut wherever you had it. Then you can take the remaining piece and heat that back up and push this down, and you have a nice clean cut. Or there, you can put your finger, whatever finger, You can use the middle one. And we're just going to go up and the same thing. It's just a matter of trimming this and then we'll move on. Okay, now the bottom half, we've got the piece cut already. You already saw how to do that, but this one you have to remember that the chrome mirror goes up this way and you need enough for wrapping over that front there. So it's already cleaned off. Make sure you have enough over there on the far side. You can move this stuff quite a bit until you push it down. Lock it down in the middle. Push all the air bubbles out. That's why you got to get good film, good air release film. Again, this is 3M 1080. Only the best for Bob. But what you want to do is you pull when you get to the edges. We're stretching it just a little bit. We want to stretch it without heat as much as possible because heat will distort it. And just remember there's a lot of give in the material. And then force it down. You want to force it down a little bit, and then we're going to take our heat gun. And that will shrink the material. So you can see there's a lot more give. This is too hot to work with right now, but it has shrunk quite a bit where now we can continue to wrap that around. We're going to let that cool and come over to here where I shouldn't have creased it, but I did. But we'll make it work. Here we know this comes here and out, so we can make a relief cut here. That way we don't have to deal with all that mess over there. Pull tight. Pull tight, push it in the corner. And I accidentally cut it with my nail, but that's fine because we were going to cut it there anyway. So I'll just continue trimming this. And that's what's nice about this knife. This is from Vivid. It feels like a pen, it's weighted, so you can easily sculpt and carve around things really nicely. All we're going to do is try to get all these wrinkles out. Probably should wear the glove for this so I don't mar the material. So that's what that looks like. Remember that cap goes over this, so you're not going to see all these things, and we're going to trim this anyway. So we kind of got to know where to trim. Now here I'm just going to come up because I haven't done the front yet. We'll work on this front edge here as we roll this around. This point and this point are going to be the hard ones. Hey, you can see me. Hi. Hi, camera. Just trying to get these so there's no wrinkles in this corner here. That's going to be tough. And that seems to be pretty good. You can actually just run your thumbnail along here so you have that groove indented. And we're just going to follow that. We're not cutting any plastic. All we're doing is cutting the vinyl in between the plastics. So now we have all the chrome covered inside. We just got to trim this piece, which we ride along this side so we can fold that in just like the other side. The blade is just riding along the side of the chrome. We're going to add heat to this and then push it down with the tool. Alright, so now we have the whole bottom done. We can pop that out if we want to, but all chrome delete underneath the sides. So now the only piece that's left is this top piece. And I'm not going to show you how to do that. I'm just kidding. I've already cut this to where I think it's going to be, allowing room to tuck this under, even though I can't really tuck it under too much, but since I know you guys like the knifeless tape, let's put a piece of knifeless tape here. Now with this knifeless tape, I'm going to go over just a little bit. Remember, it's on the leading edge over here where the line is. I don't need to do one there because remember that line was there? We can run the knife right on there. right, that looks pretty good. We do have a line there. You can kind of see a line from here. From here you don't see it. Looks good from afar, but it's far from good. Now this right here, see how that goes in a little bit, and we're kind of short here. We only need to come down a little bit, so we're gonna stretch this. I'm gonna slice this and kind of pull upward. Can you see that? Kind of pull upward a little bit to bring the vinyl up. Not pulling too much because we don't want to stretch it too much. And then we're going to make relief cuts all the way down. Hit them all with some heat and then fold down. You can see why I did those. So this had room to spread out and touch down here. Actually, I'm going to cut just below it because I don't want it to pull back and reveal some white or chrome. So again, I'm just scoring the vinyl that's on top. There's a double layer of vinyl here, but it takes a steady hand, but if you go slow, you can get it. And then we're just going to peel the vinyl off, the extra vinyl off. We're going to slice it up here. Remember that other black piece fits right in there. So we want to tuck this in. So if we run our finger alongside there, run our nail down, that's going to wrap it around. And then we can take the blade and just follow that. And that mirror is done. So there is the chrome deleted mirror. Of course, I don't have this done yet, and I don't have this done. That is going to be in part 2. I suggest you do the mirror first because it's super challenging. Once you get this done, you'll have a lot of practice on pieces and making and cutting pieces. And then doing the rest of this, doing the chrome delete, is going to be easy. I'm going to do that in part 2 of the chrome delete because this does take a while. This is not a quick thing. This does look a lot better than the other side. You don't have to take the mirror off, but as you saw, I was able to maneuver the mirror around, really not have to work upside down. And that would be very difficult if you left it on. Going to part 2. If you don't want to watch part 2, I'll catch you on the next one after that. Stay awesome, stay positive.